Going through a pros versus Joe's startup. Who has the better edge so far? Talk about it.
Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Pop Dynasty After Dark. I'm your host, Calvin Timms, and I'm excited. Today we're going to be going through a pros versus Joe's Dynasty startup. I have a guest with me today, Coach Marcel. He's a soccer coach, but he's one of the Joes in the league, and I'm excited to see his kind of takes on it from an outsider perspective. You know, all of us content creators, we always think that we have the best teams going into the draft, but, you know, interested to hear the other side of the story. So that's it. Let's just jump right into it. How are we doing today?
How you doing today?
Oh, it's not too bad. Typical Tuesday. Wife's out of town, so get to have a free night with just my little kids. So
There you go. I just had that. My wife just went. She went on vacation last week.
Yeah. My wife's out of town for work, so she doesn't get as good a time off. But like I said, handle the kids when they're so young. You know, I got 2 under 4 right now, and it's just more of a circus than anything. But it's all good. It's not bad.
I got 4, and it's trust me, I know what you're going through.
There you go. So that said, like I said, you're one of the Joes, but you know what is it that you typically do? So you've been around. You know, you and I were talking a little bit before the podcast. You've been around the Dynasty scene for a little while as more of a just a standard player. You know, not really making a ton of content and everything. But what are your thoughts on Dynasty so far? Let's hear your take on this.
I would say that I would say I'm more of an observer of the content community, but I like to use it just to help me form opinions. Because I'm probably be honest with you, I'm not gonna be grinding tape and
Sure.
going through all, trying to find all the analytical cues I can find. I just kind of find those creators who do that work for me. But
Yeah.
I don't have like one, you know what I mean? Like I'll go through whoever, a bunch of people, and just kind of. But then I watch. I would say the most watching I do is just watch a lot of.
There you go. There you go. Who's your favorite team?
I am in Michigan, so I'm a big Michigan
Detroit?
from Detroit, the Lions. Oh no, yeah, I'm a Lions fan. Huge
There you
Lions
go. You Michigan or Michigan State? Which one are
fan.
you?
Michigan.
Michigan. Okay. Okay. One of my coworkers is a Michigan State fan. You guys are gonna have to go to war.
My wife's a Michigan State alum,
There you
so
go. Sure, that leads to some fun arguments.
man.
Well, that said, like I said, you know, it's always great to hear from people out there. And with you being in the draft, that's where I wanted to really hear some of your perspectives and kind of get some of your take as well, you know, through the first few rounds. And I guess we'll recap a few of the settings. This one's a little bit more of a unique league, and it's a fun one, in my opinion. It's 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receivers. One tight end, 3 flex, and a super flex. It's half point PPR. This is out of the norm for me. I love to do full point PPR. So I think this is my only half point league actually right now. But the big kicker is 1.25 tight end premium. So an extra 0.75 for the tight ends, which if you've done tight end premium, you know how busted that is. It is insanely busted. I don't think a lot of people in the league kind of picked up on it early, and you'll kind of see that with a lot of the tight ends that were drafted. Coach and I actually had a conversation on it during the draft where I was trying to get one of his picks to get a tight end earlier, but you know, not many people. We kept it under wraps, so we were able to get quite a good value on the tight ends. Wouldn't you say?
I did, yeah, exactly. It was in the middle of the draft, and when I'm sitting here, I didn't even realize how big of a. I knew it was, we had a 0.75 added, but it didn't register to me that it was. I forgot that we were playing half PPR.
Right, yeah. 0.75
So
versus 1.25 is just such an advantage.
yeah. So and that was somebody, I forgot, I think it was you that somebody pointed it out in the middle of the draft. And I'm
Hmm.
like, wait, that's not a normal premium. This is like a
Oh,
super premium.
yeah, this is a super, super premium. I'm in a lot of tight end premium leagues. And, like I said, I do all full point PPR. And the high, like the craziest, the high end that I've done is 2 point tight end premium. So, it's PPR, but so the tight ends for every catch, they get 2 points versus one. So it's just one extra point. This is the equivalent of 2.5 tight end premium. And it's like, you'll have, there were games last year where Travis Kelce would put up 40 points because he'd have 10 catches for, 20 points and 2 touchdowns and the yardage on top of that. This is going to be pretty critical, I think. So we'll talk about it here in just a minute, but yeah, it's a fun setting, and I like the format of it as well. The pros versus Joes. You get to see what a lot of these guys really these so-called pros really think about the league, how they approach the draft and things like that. Whether they talk a big game on Twitter or or if they actually kind of live up to what they kind of say, right?
I mean, that was this is I got I don't want to say the other league I'm in is like this completely, but I would say it's like one or two guys that would consider some pros, and I like joining these kind of leagues. I like to test myself. So
I found for me personally, the way that I test myself is high dollar leagues, and I know that not everybody likes that or feels comfortable with it, but man, the stinginess and like the competitive edge that is needed for high dollar buy-in leagues, like 200, $300, like people do not throw picks away. They don't, everyone's like, oh, just throw a second for this player. I hear that all the time on podcasts and stuff, and it's like, I wish I could get this player for a second. Like nobody gives up anything in high dollar leagues. So it's really stingy, but it's a lot of fun for me personally because you have to really think about your trades. But it's going to be interesting to see one where you have a lot of other people in the community as well. So it's gonna be a fun league, I think.
yeah, I think I'm gonna enjoy it. I like high stakes leagues too. My all my I try to hover over $100 for every league I'm in. Um, so but if we get something, this one was unique. I told myself I wasn't even joining any more leagues, but this
Same,
one,
same.
because of the settings, because of the people in it, I jumped in. I was,
Yep,
I wasn't. So,
yep.
but
Same here, same
I'm,
here. Good times. All right, so let's go into the draft. And real quick, before we get to that, if you are following the podcast, you can follow on YouTube. Obviously, you'll be able to follow the draft board, Rumble, anywhere that video is really shown. You can see the draft board as we're kind of through this, and I would encourage you guys to go over to the YouTube channel. If you're listening to this on audio, we'll do our best to try and track you guys along here and try and highlight some of the bigger players and things like that. But it's going to be the easiest on video. If you can, also while you're over there, like, comment, subscribe on the channel. It just helps us grow, and we cannot grow you guys. So we appreciate you guys. Cannot do this without you. So that said, let's go over into the draft board, and we're going to go round by round here. We'll talk about the biggest standouts in your opinion, and if you are following on this. So unfortunately with Sleeper, the one thing that does annoy me with Sleeper is they have not added a feature yet where you can just draft future draft, like rookie draft picks. Instead, you have to do the kickers. And so if you see kickers in here and you're saying, what the someone drafting a first round kicker, it's because it's the 101 in terms of rookie picks. So this is a separate rookie draft where you're drafting the picks in this instead of the players. But we voted on that before the actual draft started. So if you see any kickers, you're drafting draft positions for the rookie draft. It's kind of that's how that is approached. It'd be really nice if you could add the future picks, but Sleeper's not quite there yet. But round one, very quarterback heavy, as you'd kind of expect in a super flex. You started off with Josh Allen, Mahomes, Hurts, Stroud, Burrow, Herbert, Jackson. Caleb Williams is the presumptive 108 there. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. We took Anthony Richardson at 11, and then CeeDee Lamb went 12. Anything really stand out for you, or is it more chalk compared to what you would kind of expect?
No, that's pretty chalk for what I've been seeing. I would say I would say, you know what? I would say the fall of Trevor Lawrence is a little bit more. It just is what it is at this point.
Right.
Because he's been a top 6, 7 guy, for the last couple of years. Him
Sure.
going to 2-1, and that's kind of what I've been seeing across my other leagues. Value in Trevor Lawrence. Actually think he's a good buy right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm personally down on him. Like and we're gonna be going into rankings. Me and my co-host, who not here tonight, obviously, still doing his play or whatever. He's tired. He is worn out from all that. But we're gonna be going through rankings here in the next couple weeks, and Trevor Lawrence is my quarterback 14 right now, and I don't love it, but it's just hard for me to kind of justify like why, other than draft capital, why would anyone take Trevor Lawrence over Brock Purdy? Is it just the fear that Purdy can be replaced at any time? Because on the field and fantasy wise, Brock Purdy's been outperforming Trevor Lawrence for 2 straight years now.
Yeah. And Brock Purdy is somebody that I am coming around on. I'm not there totally like him that high. I need to. I don't know. I think that I would love to see him without a couple of the weapons, but for fantasy reasons, I guess it makes sense. Got the weapons.
Yeah, right. It'll be interesting to see what happens when McCaffrey does finally age out, because time is inevitable, right? He is going to eventually hit that cliff. And what is this team going to look like without McCaffrey? But man, Brock Purdy right now, you can't pass up the free points. It's just so hard to pass that up. But yeah, and I agree with you. I think the biggest thing, and I've talked about this a little bit this offseason, CJ Stroud's still going at 4. I get it, guys. Like, I really do. He's a really good young quarterback, but fantasy-wise, he was not that good last year. Maybe, and the argument is in year 2, you can see a bump up there, but with how he played in year 1, man, I don't know what the massive bump is going to be in terms of fantasy production to justify that. Maybe it's the stability of him being so young and so good that people are just excited about it. But, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, I would love all 3 of those guys personally before Stroud, just from a fantasy production standpoint. But what are your thoughts on that? Are you super high on Stroud too?
I am. I think people are wishing the Joe Burrow kind of trajectory for him,
Okay.
where he's not like he's
Doesn't
not.
have the
He's not
injuries, right?
Lamar. Yeah, about the injuries. He's not Lamar. Can move it if he wants to, but just slinging probably 40-some touchdowns a year. And yeah, so I think that's his ceiling. I believe is like Joe. He's not. I don't think he's in that Pat Josh. I'm a huge Hurts guy, but I don't think he's in.
Sure. If Burrow didn't have the injury concerns, would you rather have Stroud or would you rather have Burrow?
I would rather Burrow, no question.
Yeah. So it's mostly the injury stuff you think that's kind of depressing Burrow's value?
Yeah, it's the injury stuff. I'm a huge Burrow guy. Like for me, he's depending on. I go back and forth between him and Jalen for QB3
Okay.
for me.
Yep.
But it's the injuries. Basically, from he's got the best top. I would say he's got a top 3 receiver and Chase.
Still has Higgins, right? Still has Higgins.
Still has Higgins right now. I don't. I'm a Burrow guy, big Burrow guy.
Big Burrow guy. Yeah, and then the receivers kind of as expected again. Jefferson, Chase. I was a little surprised Jefferson's still the first one off the board. I think right now he's my wide receiver. Don't love Sam Darnold there or potential JJ McCarthy, but still a very, very good player. You cannot go wrong with Justin Jefferson at all. So pretty good there. And again, the order doesn't really do much. Second round, and we're only going to go through the first 10 rounds. Maybe we'll kind of follow up. We're still going through the draft right now, guys. So maybe we'll break this into thirds essentially, and do the next 10 rounds after after this one at a later time after we've actually completed them. But we'll go through the first 10 here. So Trevor Lawrence, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Bijan actually went off the board at 2-3. This one was interesting by that manager there, Jamar Chase, and then Robinson is his first 2 picks in a Superflex. Always a fun strategy to see guys kind of branch out that way. Jordan Love, the 102, Kyler Murray 103, Jahmyr Gibbs, Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua, Dak Prescott, and then Breece Hall. Anything stand out in round 2? It felt like a lot more running backs. People were finally comfortable taking those guys. What are your thoughts on round 2?
The running backs are going. I was surprised that, usually you get that quarterback receiver back to back for a lot of guys, but I think people just have such high hopes for people.
Yeah, I get it. I do get it.
Yeah,
I do get it.
I
Breece
get it.
as well. Like, you took Breece, man. I
took
was hoping he
Breece.
was going to make it to us. I was hoping.
I took Breece, and I'll be like this. My mindset here was half PPR, and where get that running backs. You the receivers. It's a tad less valuable, value there. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I was thinking. I know they're still highly valued, but that was kind of my thinking. Plus, I didn't see a receiver that I considered a rock solid number one that I just felt high enough about.
Sure, and I'm glad that you did because it left our next pick here. And there was a 3rd round reversal in this as well. So the nice thing is we actually traded back from the 202 to the 206 to kind of get a little bit more value there. We moved up in a couple other rounds later on. I think we added a 2nd round pick, and then we ultimately traded back from the 2-6. I think we went from the 2-2 to the 2-6 because we were hoping to get Jordan Love at 6, and he went right before us, and we're like, dang it. Then we traded back to the 301 in another trade back. So we basically moved back an entire round because of the reversal. So, picking up a little bit of extra value. But yeah, this one was the one where it was kind of the meat and potatoes. You had your Amon-Ra, your Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua. A lot of the young receivers kind of went here. I was a little surprised at the 103 going this early. The rookie picks got real interesting in this draft, and the 101 kind of went where I expected it to, but some of the other picks later on, they went earlier than I expected, but then some of them started falling off later. It was kind of an interesting take on the rookie pick, how everyone kind of valued those. So, anything else major stand out for you in this round?
No, nothing in that round. The rookie, I was, yeah, you're right. The 103 going that early, I would not. I was a
What would that probably be? Jaden Daniels or Leak, I guess, or 3. It's not a bad value, but it's just it's a little risky. I mean, if you're talking Marv or Malik, I would be fine taking Marv over Garrett Wilson. Malik, if he goes to the right landing spot, maybe. And maybe he's expecting to get Jaden Daniels with the one going Marvin Harrison. So maybe there's that play on it. Jaden Daniels or Dak Prescott, who would you rather have landing spot on?
I think I probably would roll the dice with Jaden Daniels.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Just because I'm always chasing. I'm the way that I play is I'm always chasing the elite top.
Okay. So, fair enough.
I'm okay with. And if if I'm not one of those who's like holding on to everything, I'll trade off for somebody in a heartbeat. So,
how you feel about Puka? Yeah. You think he deserves to be the wide receiver 6, 7?
I do. I'm a big Puka guy. I'm sick. I didn't get him in a lot of my leagues.
I'm with you. I just, some people are still iffy on him.
No, I would have took Puka if he had failed him.
Yeah. It's hard not to like. It is so hard. That dude.
I saw him in the playoffs against the Lions. I mean, I saw him all year, but when he does it against your home team in a playoff game, it really it's like, oh, oh.
How you feeling now the Lions are actually like not to be disrespectful here, but relevant?
uh,
Feel good?
long time coming. Feels good, long time coming. My kids are getting into they're heavy into football now.
Yeah.
So but they're spoiled because that's really all they know is like a good Lions team. Um, so yeah, no,
They don't know the pain, right?
they're,
The
nah,
suffering.
they
You
don't
guys went
know. They didn't go 0-16 like I did.
Yeah, man. I'm so I'm actually a Bears fan. I grew up outside of Chicago. I'm both. I'm a New England Patriots fan and a Bears fan. So
Okay.
I grew up outside of Chicago. I was a massive Bulls fan in the '90s. Watched like all of the LeBron games growing up as a kid. Bears fan, all that stuff. Then we moved to the middle of nowhere, Indiana. Uh, Became a big Patriots fans because everyone was a Colts fan, and I hated the Colts. You know, uh, it paid off. That one paid off pretty well.
Yeah.
I will say, but the Bears. I'm feeling what you feel with the Lions. I know the Bears have been more relevant and everything, but it's like, dude, can we please just Caleb Williams? I'm terrified that he's not going to pan out because it's the Bears. You know what I mean? Like, I just want a quarterback for this damn team so badly.
That's one of the worst things too, is like not having that quarterback. Like it's good. You could be a great team. And I know we had Stafford for a long time. So but those teams just weren't. We had 2 good years, really, 2 good like winning seasons with him.
Right.
Um, but I remember even before him going through Joe Harrington and Charlie
Yeah.
Batch.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so
Once you get a
that
quarterback, it
quarterback,
just the failing feels less bad once you have a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like you can tolerate it a little bit more because at least
uh,
it's fun to watch, right?
yeah, and that's what Stafford was for us. He was, and out of was at least we knew you weren't gonna get healed
Right.
even in a
Right.
loss, because he kept you in games. So he's good, but we just never had the right team. So
Yeah, here's hoping that Caleb is that guy. So we'll see. But Fields' jersey is too good. And he's over in Pittsburgh.
I'm a believer in Fields, by the way.
He's a good player, man. Just needs a little bit. All right, let's go back here. So third round reversal. We were able to pick 301 and 302 in this round. We took Brock Purdy and Drake London, finishing out our quarterbacks with Purdy and Richardson. Again, I'm a big Purdy guy. He's my quarterback number 10 in terms of fantasy production, and it's just I don't see any reason why he's not going to do it again. And then Drake London, I've been talking about it here for weeks. I am the biggest Atlanta fan right now. I love Kirk Cousins. I've always been a fan of Kirk Cousins. I think he's massively underrated, especially for fantasy football, what he's able to do for his skilled players. And Drake London is the biggest winner on the offense. So for me, I was able to get my wide receiver one. Again, I'm happy you didn't snipe us there at the end of the second round. But we got our guy there at Drake London. AJ Brown goes right after that. Sam Laporta. And this is before people started to realize, I think right after this pick is right when the tight end premium discussion started happening in the league chat. We all kind of realized like, oh, that's a lot of points for the tight end. And we all started talking about it, but nothing changed. Nobody got drafted after that. McCaffrey goes right after Laporta, Chris Olave, Tua, the 104, Nico Collins at 3.9, Tyreek Hill at 3.10. Brandon Ayuk at 11, and then you finished out the round. This is where we were trying to trade with you for the 312 here to get Trey McBride. So, how do you feel about McBride here?
I love McBride. He is my tight end too,
Okay,
and I just think I don't know. I think he's probably. I'm a Laporta guy, obviously, because of the Lions, but I think he might be. I think he might be more talented than Laporta. I just think
McBride.
that Laporta has the system and that they have him in. He'll
Yeah,
probably be more productive than McBride. But big McBride. But I was struggling here because I'm like, traditional kind of strategy to tell you got to start building some receivers.
right.
But that premium was just screaming in my ear, and I'm like, this something. I think I might be. I don't know. We'll find out, but I'm like, I don't. I think I'm
Oh,
value these tight ends.
you're not crazy, my friend. The we have 3 flex in this league and then 1 tight end spot. The best teams will have at least 2, probably 3 tight ends starting every single week. It's so many points. Like, you think about it, 4 catches or in a half point for the tight end is 6 points compared to, like, that's 12 catches for the other guys. Like, it's insane. That is insane number of points just as a baseline. Then you get the yardage on it. Now, obviously the high yardage guys are going to be able to equalize that out at the wide receiver position, but you get these high target tight ends and it's going to be absolute. So, yeah, I love that for you. We were trying to get that pick, so I don't blame you whatsoever. The biggest thing for me, and, dude, I just don't know if I can justify this. Nico Collins, I like the player, but him going ahead of Tyreek, ahead of Ayuk, some of the other guys, Waddle, Moore, Pickens, that went in the next round, even Michael Pittman, like it was tough for me to justify that. How do you feel about Nico in this one?
I'm a Nico guy, but no, I'm not as high. I'm not that high. I would say
Okay. A reasonable
I
Nico
can't.
fan.
Yeah, I don't know. The reason why I'm not a big Nico guy is because I just don't know what his ceiling is with Tank Dell being.
Yeah, and they have the potential too to draft a guy late in this round. They have what, the 27, 25, somewhere around there. Like, it's going to be tough not to see them add another wide receiver on this team. Let's say they had like a Xavier Worthy, for example, or one of these other guys that's getting hyped right now. Who knows who's actually going to be going, how many going in the first round, but they had another guy there to fill out this offense, and it's gonna be hard for him to live up to that value, right?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, Pittman. I'm a big Pittman guy. Tyreek. I'm a big Ayuk guy. Like I would have, yeah, and
Yeah,
Moore. DJ Moore is somebody that I don't know what.
I like it. I like him.
I love DJ Moore.
I think we'll talk about him here in the next round. But let's wrap this third round. McCaffrey, you think he's still good there? Nerd boy had to get the guy there.
I mean, if you're trying to win for this year, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt. He's still like a redraft RB1.
I know, dude. He's so good. So good. That's where we were kind of balancing, like, not, just going for the youth. That's what a lot of people do in startups, especially newer, some of the Joes that are newer, they just say, oh, got to get the young guy. It's like, sometimes you need the production, right? But it's hard to pass up Christian McCaffrey for sure. So I don't blame Nerd. You finished off the fourth round with, you started off the fourth round with what is it, the 105, I believe,
105.
which is an interesting pick. That's probably quarterback 3, Drake May. That could be potentially Malik Neighbors, even our boy Brock Bowers to give you another edge at the tight end position. Roma Dunze, for example. So I like that for you. Jalen Waddle, 106 right after that. And this is where it's starting to get tough for me to justify these rookie picks. They start to go a little bit early and they kind of catch back up later on. Rashee Rice, DJ Moore, Jonathan Taylor. We had the 4-7 from the trade back earlier on. We took Kyle Pitts here, got our tight end 1 there. Feels a little weird pairing him with Drake London, but see if that pays off or not. George Pickens, nerd boy, sniped us by like 4 rounds. We were hoping to get him on in the draft. Goes in the 4th round. Devin Achan, I forget how to say his name. It's been too long now. Goes at 4-9. We can talk about him here in just a minute. Dalton Kincaid at 10. Tank Dell at 11. And then Devonta Smith rounded out the 4th round. What are your takes on this round? This one is where it got a little bit more wild, in my opinion.
This one was getting wild. Yeah, no, this round was the Rice going early to me was that's the shocker of the draft to me, I think. Rashee Rice in the 4th round.
Yeah.
I I can't again, I don't what is his ceiling even in KC? I don't think he's this wide receiver one who's just gonna eat, getting, 10, 12 targets a game. I don't know if that's his role in that offense. So, and
Yeah.
maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. It's tough. He was starting to get a lot more use at the end of last year. But, you know, he's a hard one to value. Either you love him or you
Yeah.
don't.
The Pickens, I'm a big Pickens guy. I didn't think he was gonna go that high.
I did not either. I get it. He got his guy, and I respect it. Pickens, man, he has a massive ceiling. Massive.
Yeah. No, I'm a big Pickens guy. I think especially I was already in on Pickens with Deontay Johnson when he left. I'm like, oh, I probably missed whatever buy window I had to get him in whatever league.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I feel that for sure.
There's still a discount there though, I think. I think he's still not. I know Nerd Boy took him, but I kind of keep up with some ADP here and there, and I still think there's some value there.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, and I think part of that is the Russ and factor. People don't really
Yeah.
love them as quarterbacks right now, even though they were fine from a obviously DJ Moore was fine last year, and Cortland Sutton was great with Denver, and nobody paid him last year. But these guys can still feed a guy. And then Pickens, he's been hot or cold a little bit the last couple of years. Still kind of establishing himself as a mainstay name. But George Pickens, he was one of my favorite receivers in that draft class. This guy is going to be. He's got that mentality that I think is going to go well for this team as the alpha dog.
Yeah. Yep. I do. They're definitely going to take somebody. I think without a shadow of a doubt, they're taking one.
Yeah, everyone thinks it's going to be a first round guy, but I mean, does everyone forget that they've made a name taking these guys in the second round? That's like all they do is just take a second round wide receiver and make them fantasy gold for 4 or 5 years, and then they'll do it again.
Who you think would be a good fit for that team?
Man, I actually just put a video out on this, and there's 2 guys that I love in the second round because I don't think they're going to get first round buzz, even though I think that they are better than some of the guys that are getting buzz. Like, I'd rather have both of these guys than Xavier Worthy, for example. But Roman Wilson out of Michigan, I think he's the perfect safety valve receiver in this draft. Like, he's just the guy, and I think it's because Michigan, he's a little devalued. Where the same reasons why I don't like JJ McCarthy. They did not need to throw the ball very often, but every time they did, man, they went to Roman Wilson, and he was just he just got it done every single time. He was Mr. Reliable there. And then the other guy was Jermaine Burton out of Alabama. I would love to see them go get him. His talent and what he shows on the field is insanely good. Like, he's top 5 wide receiver talent wise, but he's coming out of Alabama, who did not throw the ball the same way the last couple of years. And, people don't look at the Alabama wide receivers like they used to. And honestly, I think he's in a long line of very, very good Alabama receivers, the Ridleys, Coopers, all these other guys. I think that this guy can really live up to that. Is definitely going to be available in the second round. So either one of those guys, they're more of the shifty type of guy, where Pickens is the big catch kind of guy. They'd pair very well with Pickens.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that possession receiver definitely was opposite of Pickens. Like Deontay Johnson, I feel like that was a good duo together. They just, I don't know. But something like that is.
Yeah, the other big pick that was kind of wild here, Devin Achane right after this one, Pickens at 9. And I don't know. I just don't see that Achane love personally. I mean, ETN went after him. Tyron Williams went two running backs after him. And that's just, why Achane over Williams? I will not understand that whatsoever. Saquon went way later. Jacobs, a lot of these guys that I would rather have went in front of Achane or after Achane, and it's just I don't know. That one felt a little rough in my opinion. Do you have any thoughts on him?
I like Jane. I think I don't. I'm just you get injured twice in your rookie year, and it's always going to scare me. So
Right.
and
He's
at that
small, man.
size,
He's just small.
yeah.
That's the only thing
Um,
that scares me is he's just so tiny that he already had the double injury like you mentioned in his rookie year and he's small. It's like is this just his career is what it's going to be? So, yeah, I don't know. It felt like a little bit of an overpick there, but again, Pickens went a couple rounds early, so it's not the craziest situation to kind of reach on your guys. This is where I feel like too, again, going back to the whole dynasty strategy thing, not enough people approach it, and this might be a pro versus Joe thing. I've done enough of these now that um, you have to have a strategy going in, but it has to be flexible, right?
yep.
And I think a lot of people they see all these names that they really like go off the board in rounds 3 and 4, and this is where it's like, oh, now I kind of got to reach out a little bit, and that's where people kind of make bad decisions and overdraft players, in my opinion. But maybe he just really loves Ache, and maybe he's a Dolphins fan. So who knows? But yeah, it just seems like it was a little bit of an overpick. And considering, for example, Dalton Kincaid and a tight end premium went one pick after, it's like I you have to sell me pretty hard on Achan versus Kincaid. But
Yeah, the question is, will he get the workload?
right, right, that's the biggest thing.
That's
I mean, he's good. He's obviously really good when he
good.
can stay
Yeah,
healthy.
I
But
think
it's
he's
just
talented for sure.
yeah. So other than that, Tank Dell, Devonta Smith, good receivers. I don't blame those guys for going off here. I'm happy about it because in round 5, ETN was the first pick there to start off the 5th round. We got Michael Pittman at 5-2 because Tank Dell and Devonta Smith went in front of him. I was super happy about that. We were able to get the stack with Anthony Richardson and Michael Pittman, which felt very nice, very, very nice. Jared Goff went at 5-3, TJ Hawkinson, T. Higgins, the 107 at 5-6, which is probably like Roma Dunze, so don't hate that here. Kyron Williams at 5'7", Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kirk Cousins at 5'9", the 108 at 5'10". This one feels a little rich for me. Mark Andrews at 5'11", and then Deshaun Watson, you rounded out the 5th with him at 5'12". What about this round? What are your thoughts here?
Um, think I'm a big Pittman guy. I would have took him over probably at least 3 or 4 receivers that went ahead of him. So that's
Rice,
great value
picking.
in
Yeah,
where you got him.
dude, I cannot believe 5'2". I was thrilled because I
Yeah,
really wanted our second wide receiver, and I was like, I have no idea who we're gonna take here. But Pittman falling
yeah,
to us, I was
yeah. That one, a huge golf guy. I think he's undervalued. So him going in the 5th to me is value.
yeah,
Um,
yep,
he's a top 10 QB for years, top 12 for sure.
yeah, and he's gonna
So
get paid, man. He's gonna get a
and he's about to
massive pay.
get paid. Yeah, that's all they talk about on our radio, really. So getting him in the 5th round, where I personally like him over someone like Tua, um, is crazy.
Yep, I'm with you there. T. Higgins, I'm not the biggest T. Higgins fan, but this is fine. Jackson Smith and Jigba going this high did feel a little surprising to me. Not that he's bad, but man, it wasn't the best vibes coming out of Seattle. They've still got Metcalf, they've still got Lockett, and then they're going to get the new coach's name offhand, but it was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens. So again, it's a defensive coach, which not the greatest vibes that you can get there in terms of his potential usage. So, what are your thoughts on JSN? Are you still in? He was wide receiver one,
Nah,
pretty consensus last year, right?
not this high though. I would rather have not this high. I like Jackson, but I'm not this high in the 5th round. There was still a lot of other. I guess if you just wanted another receiver,
I probably would have went. I don't know. I think there's some value in probably even the rookie picks here. So
Yeah.
um, this late, I would say the one thing I'll ask TJ Hawkinson.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's hurt and got hurt pretty late in the year.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, unless where do that was I had a hard time with him because I was like I didn't know where to
I
value him.
I don't hate it in this league with the tight end premium. He's still young. TJ Hawkinson is how he's 27. He'll be 27 this upcoming draft or this upcoming season. So, I'm not too worried if he starts the season a little bit slow. With he is just such a target hog at the tight end position. Now, I'm going to be interested to see how that changes with JJ McCarthy or Sam Darnold or whoever, Drake May, whoever the Vikings end up trading up for in the draft. But I don't know if they'll be able to sustain that volume. But I mean, I get it in terms of what he's done the last couple of years. So he is a target monster, and if he can get 6 catches a game, 5-6 catches in this format, that's just so many points. Right?
Yeah. But then at the end I probably would have took Mark Andrews if he was available,
Yeah.
but I feel like I needed a quarterback, and I still believe in Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, this is the make or break year for sure. We'll see. I'm with you. I still believe that he was starting to show a little bit more at the end of before he got the shoulder injury, but yeah, we'll see. Kirk Cousins, man, I think he's being just like you fell on Goff. I think he's being massively devalued, and I think it's probably because he's older with the Achilles and all that stuff. But dude, he is going. This Atlanta offense, I don't think I've ever been more excited about anything in my life. It's gonna be so much fun.
I'm looking forward to it. I got a lot of actually I traded away a Bijan shirt, but
Yeah.
I'm a big Kyle Pitts guy. I'm a big London guy too, so I do want to see those break out.
They got Mooney now too. It's going to be a good offense. All right, round 6, you started off with Njoku. Rashad White went 2. Bryce Young finally goes off the board. James Cook, Justin Fields, Saquon Barkley. I was kind of hoping Saquon would make it to our pick here at the end of the 6. I know he didn't, but there was a little bit of hope there. Matt Stafford at 7, Baker Mayfield, DK Metcalf, Zay Flowers at 10. We took Josh Jacobs at 11, got our first running back here, and then Kenneth Walker at 12. What are your thoughts on this round? A little bit more, again, is kind of meat and potatoes, just getting the guys that you want to get, filling out your roster a little bit. You got your Staffords, your Mayfields, the running backs started to go a little bit more. People are really down on Josh Jacobs. I did not realize that at all, but I don't know why people are down on him in Green Bay. This feels like the perfect situation. Am I crazy with that?
No, you're not. I mean, the way that they use Aaron Jones, and they got 3 years younger. So.
Right. People are mad because he wasn't that good with Vegas last year. And it's like, yeah, but Vegas had a terrible offensive line. He missed all of training camp because he didn't want to play on the franchise tag. Came in fat, overweight, not as explosive. Started to get it back in the season, but just never, his heart was not in it. That Raiders team sucked for most of the season. I know people are kind of looking at the end of the year where they were getting good and everything, but Raiders were not a good team last year. I don't know why people are like, oh, why was he bad? He just didn't care. What? Not that hard. He just didn't care.
Yeah. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They had the bad coaching situation. I'm high on Josh Jacobs.
All right, fair enough. I actually like Jacobs more than Barkley. I thought he was going to go ahead of Barkley, but I was thinking that Barkley would make it to us and we'd have to choose and actually put it on paper. But thankfully, he went before us, so we didn't have to make that hard choice. But Fields going to 6.5 did feel a little rich. You have any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I remember we had discussions in the chat about it.
We were giving him crap.
Sure. I understand the strategy though,
I do
and
too. I do too.
yeah, I understand it. I actually believe in the strategy. I believe that Justin Fields will be the starter in
If not this
Pittsburgh.
year, at least next year. I mean, Russ signed a 1-year deal for $1 million. He wants to hit free agency next year. He wants to get paid. I think that there was an obvious need and connection there with Pittsburgh, but I don't think he wants to play there long term by any means.
Yeah, I just think Mike Tomlin is going to put the best player in there, and I don't see. I've watched Russell Wilson a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone. It's gone. Whatever. Letting Russ cook is it's over. That's burnt. It's over. And I just think that I don't even know. I wouldn't be surprised if we came out of training camp with Justin quarterback.
I would be a little surprised, but I don't know. I don't think him and Sean Payton were ever just a fit. But we'll see. We will see. I agree with you though. If Fields is the better player, Tomlin will not be afraid to pull Russ and play Fields. So Russ is getting paid either way. He's making $40 million this year regardless. So
Right.
he's not going to be hurting too much. But the interesting thing is going to be whether or not they pick up his 5th-year option, because they have to make that decision this summer. They don't get to wait until after this year. So it's going to be interesting to see if they pull the trigger or not. That'll tell a lot. If they sign him to a 5th-year option this year, that's going to say a lot about their confidence in him long term.
Yeah, yeah. I just Justin Fields is one guy where he had how many coaches did he have? How many offensive coordinators did he have? He had a couple of injuries. I tend to like just when I hear some people that I trust in the draft world, they talk swimmingly still about Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Not like I don't hear anybody who was high on Justin Fields and they're still not high on Justin.
Right.
They're seeing something that whatever they saw before, they still see it.
There's definitely potential. I think, and again, I think personally, as a Chicago Bears fan, I would have kept Fields and traded back. I think the haul you could have gotten for Caleb Williams was just good to pass up. But at the same time, the contract's coming due. You got to make that decision. So I don't blame the Bears. They are in a good spot. Like people have pretty much everyone has said it, that this is the best rookie landing spot that a number 1 overall pick has probably ever had. Right. And yeah, I think it's true. Like this team is very good. It's very loaded top to bottom. They need a little bit more offensive line help, in my opinion. And I know everyone has linked them to Rome Odunze at 9, but I think they're going to go the best tackle in the draft and just try and protect this number 1 overall pick in Caleb Williams. At that point, if you get the offensive line cooking, man, this team is really good. So I understand why the Bears did it, but yeah, I'm with you. I think the field still has potential, and we just need to see him established. Now, Arthur Smith is going to be a question mark, but people have forgiven him pretty quickly, it feels like, over in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, I know I heard the Roma do that. I don't need a sneaky thing that might happen in the draft. Many wide receivers that we have, we might see them drop. I just think why would I take a receiver if this one's kind of deep and I got the two to these
Right.
guys, they got the 2 top dogs here.
Yeah,
I
or
can
trade
fill
back.
out my other.
Yeah.
I can trade back, but I can fill out another position of need, and I can go get A.D. Mitchell way later. You know what I mean? So or whoever you like.
Right.
So I think that we might have there might be some receivers that fall, not because like they suck or anything, but just because like
it's deep.
There's just so many.
Yeah, it's
deep,
man.
and everybody's
So
just
deep.
gonna like I can get that guy later.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
Exactly. Yep, I'm with you 100%. I know, like everyone is saying right now, I was listening to a mock draft yesterday, and they're like, first 3 picks are all quarterback, then the next 3 picks are all receiver. And I'm like, dude, I don't think it's going to go that way at all. Like, I just don't see it, especially with Harbaugh. And yeah, it's just, I'm with you. So, all right, round 7 started off with Jordan Addison. Travis Kelce finally goes off the board. Will Levis at 3. I think it's a 111 there at 4. Devontae Williams, Stephon Diggs, Graham Gano, which is the 12 at 7. Evan Ingram, Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel. We had Joe Mixon, and then we finished the round off with you at Deontay Johnson in Carolina. I love this pick. I was really hoping to get him with our next pick. Just he's got so much potential volume. I thought that was a great pick, especially at the end of the 7th, right? Looking at the guys that were coming up, Mike Evans, Reed from Green Bay. It's not a great collection of guys. The tier break kind of felt like it was right after Johnson here. So that was a great snag by you. But any major thoughts on round 7 here? Or, again, just snapping up the guys that were a lot more older guys in this round for sure. You've got your Mixon, Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel, Travis Kelce, like a lot of older guys.
Yeah, no. The one thing that sticks out to me is I'm out on Jordan Addison.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard, man. It's really hard.
Yeah, I'm out on. I'm probably not like he's like terrible or anything. It's just like you talked about with Justin Jefferson.
Right.
I don't know who the quarterback is. Justin Jefferson is Justin Jefferson. So I'm like not too worried about that. But you still got, you don't know who the quarterback is. Still got Hawkinson. Aaron Jones is a pass catcher. So I don't know. I think he'll probably be fine in real life football. I just don't know how good he is.
Right. I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I mean, all the people, JJ McCarthy, he's my quarterback 4, right? So it's not like I'm massively out on him, but all the people that are putting him as like a top 5 pick, the projection that people are doing to say that he can sustain a Justin Jefferson and a Jordan Addison and a TJ Hawkinson, it's like, that is such, like, yeah, he showed a few good throws on tape, but he did not have to do it very often. Like, you guys are taking a great leap of faith, so good luck to you. But yeah, it's one of those ones where I'm letting someone else kind of draft that, so don't hate that. But yeah, I'm with you on that one. So yeah, again, round 7 wasn't too bad. Again, it definitely felt like the tight end position was definitely devalued, considering multiple teams at this point didn't even have a single tight end taken. This is where I was loving it. We had traded back out of the round 7. At 7-2, we actually wanted to take Jake Ferguson, and we traded back because we kind of expected that Ferguson would be able to fall a little bit. You still had Ingram, you still had Kittle, Kelce, obviously, who went at that pick, but you had a couple of guys, and the way that the tight end draft board was not falling, it felt like we could kind of reach back a little bit to go and get him a little bit later. So happy we were ultimately able to get Jake Ferguson. But yeah, this one was just kind of a get your older guys and kind of finally establish their draft position. But nothing crazy, I don't think.
No, because I think my pick was the 110 or it's the 110, I believe. And I'll be honest, like my strategy at this point in the draft, I'm looking at my team. I'm like, I don't know, like I know I value these. I think I got the tight ends. I'm at the point now where I'm like, if I draft a first rounder and I like somebody else that goes after, can I just go pay for that guy?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, definitely good point.
So that's kind of that pick for me. Like, hey, I can take, or if I want to, there's no doubt if I wanted tomorrow, I'll go get Najee Harris from somebody.
Right.
Something like that.
Yep.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. So yeah, round 8, you took the 111, I believe, if I'm counting correctly. 1, 2.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's the 111. So yeah, no. The nice thing about that is you're flexible, right? Like you have the option to, like you said, kind of get who you want, or you can cash it out for a player, a known vet, right? George Kittle went right after that. Isaiah Pacheco. We got Jake Ferguson at 4. Najee went right after that. Jaden Reed, Mike Evans, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift. Derrick Henry went at 10. I was so bummed about this. Dude, we wanted Derrick Henry so bad, and he went one spot in front of us. I was not happy about that, but we got Hollywood Brown at 8-11, and then we finished out the 8th round with Tony Pollard. And we had kind of a weird draft in terms of the order because we kept moving around the board. 3 8th round picks for us. Yeah, I was pretty happy though. Tony Pollard, I think he's kind of being devalued a little bit, but I really wanted Derrick Henry, but we ultimately got Tony Pollard. A little bit more youth on that to pair with Jacobs. Hollywood Brown, I think, is being devalued quite heavily, and I don't understand why, especially in this offense. Like I expected Hollywood to get a massive bump going over to KC, and it just did not happen. Maybe it'll happen here in a couple months. People are kind of slow to this stuff sometimes, but I was a little shocked by that. Do you like Hollywood over in KC? Am I like on a pedestal here on an island?
I'm not. I'm not the biggest Hollywood fan. I think as much as I talked about Rasheed Rice earlier,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think he's still got Kelsey, you got Rasheed Rice. They could still draft a guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know it's Pat. He's throwing the ball all around, but is there volume for Marquise to make him? Because he can easily be. He might just be the third option.
I mean, he'll
team,
probably be. I don't know. I could see him overtaking Rice though. It depends how you look at him, but his speed, man, and Patrick Mahomes' arm, like if anybody's gonna find a way to make that work, it's gonna be Andy Reid, who had Deshaun Jackson for many years, right? So that's the one thing I want to see what he can do because we've not seen the Chiefs with a speedy guy that actually has reliable hands. MVS, talking about you. Since they got rid of Tyreek, right? So I'm interested to see how the Chiefs play him this upcoming year. But I do think the talent is there, the speed is there for sure. So I feel like I'm on an island here, but I think he's going to be very good fantasy wise, especially in this league, dude. If we keep those, one of the crazy things I was digging into the scoring today, I found that any 50+ yard touchdown counts as a bonus 5 points. Dude, Hollywood with this offense, he might have like 3 or 4 of those this year. It's going to be an awesome extra 20 points that I'm going to be racking up.
Yeah, and when we were talking about that, I was like, again, the wrinkles is what made me join this league. So
yeah, dude,
and
it's
I didn't
crazy.
even realize that.
It's fun.
Yeah,
I didn't either. I was like, holy crap, dude, that's nuts. Like a 51-yard rushing attempt is basically an extra touchdown. Like that's nuts.
Yeah,
That is nuts. So that'll be fun.
It'd be fun. I'll say the one thing that stuck out to me, I don't know what David Montgomery going this early.
Yeah, it felt a little rich.
Yeah. I guess that one, and I don't know I think Swift has talent. I just don't. His coaches don't love him though.
I know, but he was the first player signed in free agency. Like, it does mean something. Like they were excited, and it's Bears. So again, this all kind of goes back to Caleb Williams in the best landing spot he could possibly have. But I think it's a good signing. I really do. They needed a guy, and Swift has always been good when getting workload. If he can just stay healthy, man, the opportunity here.
Yeah. I'm a big Roshan Johnson guy, but I was a little disappointed him going there, but I understand it.
Yeah, for me, I don't even think it's that bad. Swift could have like 60% of the touches. Roshan could have maybe even 55-45, and I think there's the potential for both of them.
Yeah.
Anything else in this round? Again, Jaden Reed was another guy we were hoping would fall to us. Like, who would you rather have, Hollywood or Jaden Reed?
I think I would rather have Jaden.
The youth there is definitely not.
The youth, the rushing, the manufactured touches. He probably is their number one receiver. The only reason I'm even a little bit down on Jaden is because they have so many guys.
Right.
So, what does wide receiver one in Green Bay mean when they got 3 legit receivers and 2 legit tight ends? Josh Jacobs.
There, dude, Jordan Love, talk about a good setup, man. That guy is primed. Like that team,
Yeah.
the Packers, they, I, I don't know how they did it, but I'm happy. People were crapping on Jordan Love for so long, and like this kid comes out and just absolutely balls out last year. Started a little bit rough, but it's like, oh, this guy isn't really good in his first 4 NFL starts. Like, what's wrong with him? He starts a little slow. It's like, dude just killed it at the. It was nice, and I'm happy for the.
Yeah, I'm happy for him personally. As a Lions fan, I thought we had the division locked up for like the
Yeah,
next 3 years
yeah.
at the minimum.
Hey, man,
But
the NFC North is actually slowly becoming very interesting. Very,
yes,
very.
it is.
If Kirk had stayed in Minnesota, dude, that division was anybody's game.
Yeah. No, I think again, as a Lions fan, I thought we had it sold up. I was telling my friends like, "Who? What are we? We're good. Like our team, we got the best team. Who's whatever." Green Bay, they just 3 quarterbacks in a row. They just nailed it.
Hall of Fame, Jordan Love,
All of,
dude. If they, it's
uh,
nuts, man. It's 4 technically because they went from Bart Starr to Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers down to Jordan.
yeah, yeah,
Talk
yep. And
about
then you
quarterback
guys,
problems. The Bears have never had a quarterback worth anything, and it's literally all they've ever had is Hall of Famers. Come on,
yeah,
come on.
yeah. No, that one. For me, it's a tough pill to swallow because I thought we had it. I thought we had it.
Yep. Yep. All right. So round 9 here, Chris Godwin. Don't hate that pick. I think it's good value for Chris Godwin. Still young. He's kind of one of the underrated younger wide receivers. I think that's what the 112 at 9-2. Harry McLaurin, Amari Cooper, Russell Wilson, Christian Watson, Aaron Rodgers, Christian Kirk, Derek Carr at 9, the 201 at 10, Alvin Kamara and Calvin Ridley. You rounded that out with him at 12.
Yeah, I tried to trade up in this.
Were
This
you?
was
Okay. Okay.
yeah, I was trying to trade up in this. I thought it was a lot of value with some of the older receivers.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was surprised Ridley actually fell to me, but I definitely I was definitely trying to trade up.
Right. Yeah, this one didn't have too much that stood out. Cooper Cup not going yet was a little wild. I get he's older and everything, but just like McCaffrey, just want to win. Tough to upon.
I think the injuries is what scares. That's what scares me at least. I'm not. I
Fair.
don't. I'm not worried about him in the. I think he's still fine from like a talent. He's not like wide receiver number one overall anymore. But I just think that I'm worried about the injuries.
That's fair. That's fair. Russ finally goes off the board right ahead of Rodgers and Carr. Nothing crazy there. This was quarterbacks were getting real skimpy. You'll see that in the next episode. Go through 11 through 20. It's just it got real skimpy real quick at quarterback. Tight ends, again, no tight ends in this round. It was just we were sitting back and we're just like, dude, this is nuts. Like how many we were trying not to take back-to-back tight ends to scare people into taking them off the board, but we're like, dude, the value on these guys, absolutely.
Yeah. No, it was again. My brain was just working overload trying to figure out. I pull out the calculator, like maybe I'm overvaluing these. I'm pulling out the calculator. I'm like, no, I think I got it. I think these are these are like, they're basically, they're superheroes.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the high volume. Like you get 10 catches. 10 catches for a wide receiver in this league is 5 points. 10 catches for a tight end in this league is 12.5 points. Like that's insane, right? So, yeah, I don't think enough people value that in like points, but it's a lot. It's a lot of points. How many games did I lose last year where it was by 2 points?
Close. Yeah, close.
Like it's hard to overvalue that, right? So, um, yeah, this one again, nothing crazy. I do think this is where the second rounders started to feel a little rich in my mind, but um, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It gives you
I believe.
flexibility, but it's also an
Yeah.
unknown, right?
So I feel the same way because I started looking at second round
Like
and
201 or Calvin Ridley. Like I'd much rather have Calvin Ridley versus an unknown
sure.
second round pick, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would rather I was this is where I was considering it was just kind of what's on the board. Again, I was going back to could I buy this? Can I whoever's on the board, can I buy them with that
Right.
later?
Right. We were trying to
And
offer a second next year so that we could buy at worst a second in this year. Right.
you sent me a pick, you sent me an offer,
Yep. Yep.
and you sent me an offer, and I forgot that you sent it. I would have gave you that.
That's what I told my
I,
my co-host. We're co-managing this team, and I was like, I'm gonna try a sneaky tactic where I'm offering a second round pick straight up for one of these picks. I was like, because worst case scenario, you're getting like the 202. It's like, that might be the 201 next year, but who cares?
I
It,
would have
it
I would have took. I look back like I am at you.
well, it was fine value, but it's like it's not good enough. Nobody ultimately took us up on it, but I was like, I wonder if we can kind of get this off on there or not. But yeah, nobody ultimately took us up, but it would have been funny if it had happened. All right, then you took Michael Myers at Mayer at 10-1. Again, stacking up the tight ends. I do not blame you whatsoever. Tajay Spears at 202 at 3 here. Jameson Williams at 4. Josh Downs at 5. Ramondre Stevenson at 6. Cooper Kupp at 7. Cole Kmet at 8. Geno Smith at 9. Nick Chubb finally goes off the board at 10. We took the 203 at 11 and then followed that up with Kendre Miller 12. We had, again, weird draft where we had multiple 8s, multiple 10s, everything like that. But I think we ultimately traded back too. I think we had the 10-6 to trade back to the 11-9 or something like that. So, we were moving all around the board, trading back a little bit. Nothing crazy, but yeah, this round was you can definitely feel the tier break here in terms of value, right? Where you're not getting the same value of superstars as you have been. This is definitely where you've really started to feel.
This is where there's this is the end of the 10th round was to me a clear tier break.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get into the end of that when I noticed you had 2 picks at the end of that in that because I
Right.
wanted, I'll be honest with you, I wanted Kendre and I would have took the same exact thing you took. I
Yep.
wanted the pick and I wanted Kendre. Um
We were
and
looking at
I
the
think I
running
said
backs and we're like, dude, this just feel good.
I thought Kendre was gonna fall to me at 11.
No
I
chance.
tried to trade up. Actually tried to trade up. Actually, couldn't
Yeah,
couldn't
I
do it.
feel you. And we're big on Kendrick. Like I think what we saw at the end of the year last year was a big indication of what his did. Alvin Kamara's getting older. The Saints continue to kick the salary cap can down the road. They cannot bring in guys like in a year's time. They're going to be free of Kamara because they're not going to want his contract anymore, and they can get out of it next year. So they're going to kick Kamara next year just to make money because again they'll have to get under cap again, and that's going to leave them Kendre Miller, and they're really not going to have much competition because they can't pay anybody to bring him in, right? So Kendre, he's got so much opportunity. Yeah, we love him a lot. So
I like him.
we were thrilled to get him.
I think Kendra would be the number one RB in this draft, at least number two.
Yeah, he'd be up there for sure. For sure. I don't know where ultimately I'd take him. I like Benson, but yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
You know, I like Braylon Allen a lot too. I know people, but I really like. So, but yeah, Kendra is right up there with all three of those guys. So, which one is 1, 2, and 3? Say, but Kendra could ultimately be the number one.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was the 10th round was very frustrating for me.
Yeah, that's where you have those guys that they just start to fall off. You're like, everything that's left sucks. This
Yeah.
feels bad. So
Yeah, everything else is you're just taking swings, trying
yeah,
to figure out, can I get a good can I get a good wide receiver two? Who's a backup? Maybe there's somebody that's like take a shot on. Um, there was some of those. It was a couple of them here and there, but not much. That was it. The 10th round definitely.
then how you felt in the 10th is how I felt in the 12th. But we'll get to that one next time. But yeah,
Sure.
we saw in round 12. Just quick little spoiler. We saw we ultimately took Quentin Johnson, but Gabe Davis went off the board. Thrilled to try and get him at the 13-1, hoping to double up on these two years. Brian Robinson went right there in front of us too, and we're like Marvin Mims. I was like, all these guys that we had right on
Yeah.
our list. So I felt your pain in round 12. So yeah, no, that's the first few rounds. Again, anything major stand out from the first 10 rounds that you noticed, or kind of what you expected, or was there more? What were your ultimate thoughts?
Um, I would say the big thing for me was just the tight ends. Like you said, I don't know if everybody noticed how valuable the tight ends will be,
I,
and I think there's the running back situation not great,
no,
and
no.
there's probably like a couple of guys, and this showed it. Like everybody has questions outside of probably the top, but 4 guys, 5 guys.
Maybe like 7, but it gets pretty tough pretty quick.
It does.
Yeah, there's gonna be guys obviously that stand out like Chuba Hubbard, James Conner, maybe Austin Eckler might still have a step in it. A lot of it feels like you almost want it, the hero RB where nobody wants the running backs in like 5 through 7 or what it was. It's almost like I want all those guys, and then I want none of them until like round 13. I want either
Yeah.
the early guys or the late guys. I don't want any of the in between.
No, it's funny that you say that because there's a round in there where I had every guy queued up who went for like 8 straight. It was devastating. I just
Yeah, we were
oh
yeah, so we were actually both on the wings, right? We were on the
yep.
turn at the other end. We were at the back end, so we never really had the chance to snipe other than board. But yeah, being on the wings kind of sucks. Like I kind of like being in the middle of the board a little bit, so you don't have to move as much from your picks. Like you don't have to reach as much. It's
That's the
interesting,
hard part. Is not even like the hard part is moving off those picks.
right?
It's a little tougher because if you want to move up, you got to move up a whole round or you got to move up 6, 7 spots. 'Cause once you get to a certain point, you might as well just wait. But
Right. Yeah.
like I said, like that round that I think it was I don't remember what, but it was a round where I was trying to get a receiver and they all went in that first 3 or 4 picks and I was
Right.
trying to trade up and nobody wanted to move back that far.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the one thing. This one was a stingy draft in terms. I've been in a few drafts startup wise that people are moving paying like massive premiums and all. There's a couple guys that were paying to word a lot heavily, but yeah, ultimately people were pretty stingy on this. Not much movement compared to some of the other ones, especially in the. But yeah, it was fun. It was definitely fun, and
fun.
we're still going. Obviously,
We're still going. What's funny is I haven't made a trade yet.
I know I did
I haven't
notice that. I
traded.
was looking at your board, and you haven't made yet. You have all your original picks, but
I just it was in the moment. I tried to trade out, try to trade up here and there, and I just felt like you said, it was I didn't want to. I felt like there was still value where I was, and I didn't want to overpay. Obviously, I would like to have the big thing with moving around is just getting extra picks in the meat part, in that 7, 8 round, and then again in like the 15th or whatever or 12th.
yeah,
But I still feel decent about my team, just because I think I can make some things happen after the draft.
yeah, you've got a lot of picks,
Yeah, a lot of picks.
rookie draft. So you get to fill a lot more holes than you probably should with how your team is looking. I don't love it. Your team is definitely for me. So it'll be a fun one to see how this all shakes out after. It'll be a fun goes. Well, any
Yeah.
last thoughts on this one, or are you ready to wrap this thing up?
No, I think I'm good, man. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Well, what's your Twitter or social media? If you want to share that, feel free. Everybody go follow him and let him know your thoughts on the draft. I think you did a great job. Obviously, that's the funniest thing. Dynasty, as long as I have some people that aren't content creators, they don't just as much as a lot of the content, just as well. Just kind of being immersed. I think you had a great draft, especially with not moving at all. And you want to share your social media? Feel
Sure. My social media is, it's not fantasy football. It's Detroit Commercial RE on Twitter. That's I talk more about my day job, which is commercial real estate. But I still appreciate the follow.
There you go. There you go. And then obviously I'm Alvin, my coach, Dynasty back ranking video later this week. Podcast is FF Work. Again, we're on YouTube, Spotify. And just like, comment, subscribe, all those fun things and again, give Coach a shout out coming on as not being a content creator. I think he killed it in this podcast. So let him know your thoughts down below. Like it? No. So that said, thank you guys so much for listening. And until next time, have a good night.
And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna